Graham, in difficult conditions, are you pleased with what you saw from your side today?
Yeah, I am. It was incredibly hot and difficult for both teams. You could see the pace of the game sort of started quite good, but then really slowed down, to almost like a Spanish game or something. And that was down to the heat. We want to get about teams and press them, but I thought we had to drop back into our shape to press them in that mid-third, which we did. I thought really well. They had a lot of possession in front of us and around us, but I thought we managed their threats really well, and they have them because they're very good. But we showed that we had good quality as well straight after half-time. Fantastic goal, great quality, and I just rue the lack of composure maybe in other few opportunities that we had in the second half after that goal. But I can't fault the players today. They were magnificent. We had to have a little response from last week. I thought when we had the ball, we used it wisely, we used it well, and then when they had it, we were disciplined in our shape. And I think it was a limited chances for both teams, as in clear cut. But I thought we had some real good opportunities that we're a little bit disappointed that we didn't hit the target with.
What did you say at half time? Because you couldn't have dreamt for a better start to the second half.
Just to keep our discipline and our shape, and on turnover we had to have a little bit more quality and take care, and we had that straight from minute one. Great turnover. They tried to get you out your slots and drag you across the place, but to a player, the whole team stayed disciplined to what we'd worked on. And then on turnover, it was the quality on that transition, and great finish. You could see actually his body relaxed just as he's about to hit the shot, and I felt if you look at our players in the later shots, they're a little bit tense and snatching. So that's something we need to work on. But it's a good point because I think they're a really good team. They've been together for 14, 16 months playing the same way. We're 7 games into our sort of beginning, and we've got to be really happy and content with what we've done so far.
You did come under a lot of pressure at times in that second half. Are you pleased with how you defended in the main? I know you conceded, but you dealt with a lot of what they threw at you.
I didn't really feel it. I thought they had a spell down our left-hand side, getting in behind us after we went 1-0 up, and that's why we wanted to make those changes to bring on that fresh energy, certainly on the left-hand side, to see out that threat. And I think if we'd have got through that period at 1-0 and got the subs on, I think it'd have been a different story. But I wouldn't say there was sustained areas of pressure. I think they had some good moments when they got down our left-hand side and put some good quality crosses in. But they never got through the middle of us. They didn't really get down the other side of us. A lot of their possession was in front of us, which we were happy to give up and be content with. So we knew what type of game it was, and certainly on a day like today, we couldn't ask our players to go and press like we do every other week. It'd have been suicide. So I'm really pleased with how we stuck to the game plan. But on a different day, we could have got 3 points. But Macca's made a fantastic save right at the end as well.
I know it's still early days, but obviously it was technically second against first going into today. How important is this game in terms of a test for your side?
I think as a test, because we know that's a team that's been winning for a long time. They've got momentum. They were top before today because they're a good team and they've won games. And if you allow them, or if you're not focused and disciplined enough, they can cut you wide open. But I never felt that was the case today. And so as a test, I think it was a test for us after our game last week in the second half. I think that was the test for us, rather than a test against the opposition, a test us against ourselves about maintaining performances right through to the end of the game. And if we'd have stayed at 1-0, I think you saw what we've done in a few games is concede and then concede again really quickly. We didn't do that today, so that's progress.
Max Dean, first league start for the Dons. Thought he played really well.
He did, yeah, he did. He was, he's deserved it. His energy in training. He's a constant goal threat in training. Scores a lot of goals. And he taps into the team ethic about working hard and pressing, but intelligent pressing. He drops into his pocket. He knows when to press, when not to, and when he's confident, he's a real goal threat. As you saw that, I thought he was unlucky not to score. But yeah, it was an excellent, full debut from him.
We've seen Daniel Harvey pop up in some good spots, haven't we, already this season, and a terrific solo effort.
Yeah, you calling it a solo effort? I thought Tommy and I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but from the distance he got, but I thought it was a great shape from us. We stepped out to press and turn the ball over at the right time, and then we showed that quality in possession to go and score. And like I just said, I think you could see Dan's body relax maybe because he's already scored 2 goals this season, and he's in confident mood. And it was a great finish from him, and we needed that from a couple of other opportunities to extend our lead.
Ellis, on his debut, I mean, he could have capped it with a great chance at the end there.
Yeah, it was. That's how tight the game was. It went from us having that chance, them having that the header which Craig saved. I don't know which one came first. I think ours came first, didn't it?
Was it?
Was it? Right, that was it. Sorry. And it would have been a brilliant debut for him to come on and just hit the target. So I think that's where we've just lacked at today when we've had really good opportunities. We haven't tested the keeper enough, but we know of Ellis's threats. He's certainly somebody who can get on the end of crosses. A fantastic cross from Gilbs, I think, and there was a lot of really good, strong performances that when you look back on at the end of the season when you're successful, or if you're successful, that you see these points and you go, do you know what, that was a good point that day against a top opposition.
A new goalkeeper in your ranks this afternoon. What's the thinking behind that?
Nathan unfortunately picked up an injury in training. I think it might have been Wednesday, really late on. So we had a mad dash to try and get somebody in for today, and then we got a scan from Nathan. I'm waiting to find out what that is, but it seemed like a severe muscle strain. So we just felt we needed to bring in somebody who can compete with Craig and if needed, go onto the pitch.
How's Ash Hunter? Because it's easy to read into captions on social media pictures, but it sounds like he's not particularly. Or he's going to be out for maybe a little while.
It'll be a few weeks. He had a scan Thursday, so I think he'll be maybe 5-6 weeks with that hamstring, which we're actually quite pleased with because he had a severe hamstring injury last season where he missed 5 months. So he was quite emotional last week, thinking he'd done it again, but it's in a different spot. It's not as severe, so we hope he'll be back within 6-7 weeks.
And how do you lift players after that? I mean, like you said, it's kind of a blessing that it's not 6 months, but 6 weeks is still a fairly long time, isn't it?
I think he was fearing the worst. So actually, for him, I think it was a little bit of a bonus. He was really down last week, and we talked about positive thinking and don't jump the gun, just because it happened before isn't the same thing. So, we tried to keep things quite composed, with injuries and so forth. We don't take risks. We look after our players really well. They get everything they need. So we just talked to Ash yesterday about this being a time now he can come back better, more improved. Use this time not playing to improve his whole condition, and make sure he doesn't ever drop out with injury again. Because I do believe muscle injuries to an extent are preventable. So there's lots of things you can do to do that.
And I suppose positively on the injury front, you said that Jonathan Lecker hadn't trained with you for a few days. He was playing today. Mo Weiss are back in the side as well. You're getting players back.
Yeah, Mo hadn't trained for 2 weeks until yesterday, but Friday's traditionally obviously a light day. John hadn't trained this week at all until Friday, but he had obviously played last week a full game and been training the whole time, so he was in better conditions to start the game. But that's why we knew Max would give us that energy and to stretch teams and to press. But we know we've got decent goal threats, but we have to make sure that they're fully fit. We can't be putting half-fit players on expecting them to play against top opposition. That's not the way we work. For us to win and win consistently, we need 11 fit players on the pitch at any given time. So that's how we run things, and the players understand that.
Obviously, with injuries coming and happening all the time, it must be nice to have the depth of squad that you have at the moment, being able to call on the likes of like Jack Payne, Joe Tomlinson, and obviously Ellis Harrison to come on and maybe change a game. Yeah,
100%. I feel that's what we've just been missing a little bit about taking that performance on. But when we obviously decided the team yesterday, and when we named the bench, we were like, that's a really decent bench. That's where we need to be. 16, 17, 18 players that we can go straight from the off and play. There's a couple of boys on the periphery. Thought Brooklyn's been unfortunate not to be on the bench today because he's been superb in recent weeks. But with Joe coming in, who can play both sides, that gave us someone who can do two positions. But these boys they have to make sure they keep competing and they're in peak physical condition. because their opportunity could happen any moment. And if they're not ready, they're not going to be good enough to stay in the team, and we want players to stay in the team if they can.
Speaking of staying in the team, Dawson Devitt has been playing in the absence of MJ Williams. Thought he did pretty well in his showing today.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was. Look, I thought at half time last week, would I foresee making 4 or 5 changes the week after? No. So I wasn't going to throw everything out just because of a poor 45 minutes. We're in a good position in the league with points, and those players have done that. And Dawson's been a part of that team. So I believe in all my players. I believe in where they need to improve, and us giving them that information and then helping them to do that. But Dawson's a young player playing with really good players and experienced players around him. But I thought he handled the ball really well today. We put a lot of responsibility on him to make those angles and take the ball. I thought he did that, especially in the first half. But there was a big shift for him in there, getting across from side to side, and we felt it was the right sub at the right time. But he's a good young player.
How's MJ doing?
He's going to see somebody on Monday actually. So he had an injection this week to settle it down, which he feels much better with. And then he's going to see somebody who he's seen before, who he knows, and they know his condition. So we'll know more on Monday. But he's feeling good in himself, which is a positive. He thinks he can train next week, but I'll let the experts be the decider of that.
We've seen a lot of games over the years where the Dons have tried to have a majority possession. Was this a different kind of challenge today where we had an opposite team that was very much trying to get a majority possession and just all trying to counter that?
Yeah, I think if the possession is in our half and causing us problems, then I'll be concerned. The majority of the possession was in that mid-third and centre halves keeping it, which we're fine with until they put it at risk when it came into our bodies, where we turned it over really well. They had to change their tactic to do that. But listen, they're a good team, and we didn't start out with that intention. If you look at the first half, we kept the ball for good spells as well. I just felt our team's used to pressing. It expends a lot of energy most weeks, but so the heat might have affected us. We maybe need to show a bit more patience when we did have it. Instead of maybe 2 or 3 switches, then trying to play forward, we maybe should have kept it a little bit more often. But I can't fault my players in one respect today. I thought they were magnificent.
Graham, can I just pick up on one thing you said about Notts County, about they're a side that's used to winning for the last year and a bit. Yeah. Is that something you expect with all newly promoted teams, or is there something more unusual about Notts for a team that's just come up?
No, I think a lot of teams take that momentum into the next season. I think them and Wrexham recruited ready-made Football League players. When they were in the National League, we did something similar at Salford, and when you make that jump, you're sort of half ready for it. So I don't think they're perturbed by the level they've gone to. I think obviously they consider themselves to be a Football League club. They're the oldest club in the world. So it's a massive club with great support. Luke's done a fantastic job there, and they've got really good players. They've got a way of playing which they know inside out. Like I said, we're right on the beginning of that journey, but I think we've shown different parts in different games to get the points we have. We've got to add them all together to become the full package.